Welcome, guys, to episode 8 of this Let's Play series. This is Dwarf Fortress, of course, and last episode was a lot of fun, delving into the ruins. So if you missed that one, it's probably worth going back and having another look at what's going on there. Again, a special thank you to my Patreon supporters and to anyone that has supported the channel in whichever way, even if it's just likes and subscribes. It certainly does help a lot. I've really got to sort of try to get past the dreaded YouTube algorithm somehow, and it's a daunting task. Anyway, this session we're going to be starting our process of establishing a trade area, because we've only got 1 month now, really, before autumn comes, and that's when we're going to get the trade caravan arrived. Now, initially the trade caravan doesn't need to have access, the actual real access that it required in the old game. It'll come for about 2 or 3 years with just just dromedaries or some sort of like horses or whatever else it might actually be, that they actually then arrive at your, so they don't need the 3 wide wagon areas. So back up the top, if we go to F1, actually our wagon has now been pulled apart, I forgot about that. So the wagon was essentially 3 by 3 is the size of the wagon, and so we have to have a 3 wide way to get down into the fortress. Now I'm going to still build that, but I'm going to start at the bottom where I want my trade caravan to be, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. So I'll just go back down. Did I put, no, yes I did do the F2, good. I'm going to put the trade caravan here. I've sort of forgotten what I've done and what I haven't done. Now it's got to be 5 by 5 to build a trade depot. So if I go to I said trade caravan, trade depot. So if you just go and click it, you can sort of see there, that's about the size I want it. Now I can put it in anywhere. It doesn't, again, even though there's tables there, they don't block movement, so it can be any old place that we like. So I think I'll just place it here, but I have to, of course, channel that one out. Now, one of the troubles I have is that I've given instructions all the way down through the fortress of all sorts of different mining operations, and really this is now more urgent than everything else we've got. Now, there's a few things that I tend to do when it is like this. If I really want the miners to focus on a particular area and at the expense of everything else, I'll often just go into and open up this one here and just go and make it so that my mining gets changed across to markers, and then I can just sort of go and paint the areas and make them blue. Or if I want them back again, I can just go and do that as well. So I just bring them back away from the blue area. Another way that you can do it, though, so that will then just block them off, so they won't just, it'll become a blueprint and not an actual active request for mining. That's quite handy actually for different sorts of things. But we'll just go up, because what I want to be doing is there's another way of doing it, and that's to prioritize the mining operation. Like you can see, we've got a lot sort of figured out, and I don't want them to sort of stop what they're doing. So we'll just go back up to the top again and then just deal with it. So what we're going to do in this case is we are going to still go to mining, of course, but we're going to just change the priority. So if I even just, like 4 is medium, I'm just going to bring it back to a 3. Now, one of the things I don't like about this, and what I'll do is I'll pause when I do it, it's when it finishes its priority area, it still keeps the little numbers on every mining thing that you do, and my OCD, I guess, doesn't really sort of like that. So I tend to, once you've done all of the priority mining, you can then save the game, bounce out, bounce back in again, and then it will be gone. So I'm just going to do this at level 3. So I'm just going to go and cut through here, and then just cut through a 5 by 5. So that's where we are. Now we know that the aquifer is reasonably high up from in here, and I'm going to start to plan what we're then going to do as well. So I'm just going to go back to normal mining after that. So I'll just go back to number 4. And so this little 3, if I go then back down through the other levels, you'll see that these now also then have this little 4. And as I say, it doesn't bother me too much, but I will, like when I save the game and come back out, after it's done the priority mining, they will then actually, it'll then revert. Now what I want to do is I want to have like a bit of a landing and then start to go up through the different Z levels. Now, just to check that we can do this, I want it to sort of go out from here and then go around the staircase essentially. So if we go and have a bit of a look, and I don't mind how sort of long and windy it is, that's fine where we are there. Then by that stage we're heading up this side, that's actually okay. And then we're actually getting towards the aquifer, and so then we start to run into a bit of problems. So I'm just going to go and put I'm going to paint in at level 4 just a blueprint mode of the actual mine that I want. So I'm just going to go across at this point in time. I'm just trying to think of how far out I'd be wanting this to be. I might keep it fairly close to here, and so if that's going to be where this is going to be, Just again, sort of thinking it through. What I might do is, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a little bit tight there, actually. I could have it so that it does go up and around. I might just move this over a little bit, actually. Just go back and move that one more this way. Again, I'm just trying to keep it nice and neat, and I'll, of course, get rid of that. And ditch that one, and then we can just delete this one over through here. I'm just trying to sort of keep it so that it'll wind around this and look nice around the actual central staircase. And we'll do a few other things as well. We'll end up with a different way when we get towards the top of the fortress. I'm just going to plan it all out, and then maybe I'll do that, and then you'll see when it's actually done. So I'll just pause this and come back in a minute. Alright, so we're back on the surface now. So this is actually where our main staircase entrance is, as you can sort of see down through here. But we need to have a 3-wide area for the wagons, for the caravan. By the way, if there's any saplings in front of where your wagons are going to be going, if they can't get easy access into this area, it will stop them. So you will need to build a road out the front as well, but I won't do that just yet. We'll do that a bit later on. But just be aware, if the caravans can't get to you, quite often it'll be a boulder which you have to smooth down, or a sapling. So you're better off just constructing a road in front of it. That way the saplings won't grow. All right, so we channeling into here. This will be sort of like just a drop straight down onto the layer below. By the way, when you do that, you're going to end up with dirt layers down through here, like the sandy clay wall, which things can grow. You can see that there's grass growing on the staircase. That's fine, doesn't really matter. But if it's on a roadway, again, plants should grow on the roadway, so you don't want saplings growing anywhere. So you may have to pave a road a fair way down just to get past your soil layers for the wagons. It's just that way you don't have to worry about trying to clear out any saplings when they actually do arrive. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight down, a little bit of a flat area, down again to another area, then a big flat area for the caravan to turn around, down another layer, across, down, across, turn, down, across, down, whoops, turn, down, across, down. It keeps on going down and down through the different layers as we go deeper and deeper. Then we get to this area here, which is just above the aquifer. And so this is going to be the start of a goblinite mine. So this is going to be the plan. And this will happen when we have sieges. This will actually be something that we use to try to then milk goblinite as much as we possibly can. And so what we do through here is we need to sort of have ways of locking the invaders in, but if we give them an avenue down into the fortress initially, and then block it off with drawbridges. Drawbridges are safe. You can essentially then sort of trap them and then do things with them. And what I want to do is I want this to be my first trap. And so I'm going to come down into this next layer, which is now quite a long one. And what I'm going to do is have retractable bridges above the aquifer. And so I haven't actually built in the aquifer just yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to have then another area that then will end up going sort of like across into the next zone back over here. So we'll actually sort of end up coming back down from here ultimately, but I'm not going to actually dig or show the building of the aquifer until I'm ready. So I'm just going to do it bit by bit by bit. Now, when we're actually over here, I'm going to be digging down a few different channels, and so that will then fill up with water. And from there, we can then sort of figure out the best way of actually then sort of getting the goblinite, which is actually, goblinite is essentially the armor that goblins wear. And so when they die, like if you can kill them and then get their loot back out, you can then make use of that. So we're going to actually end up with a bit of an intricate way of pumping with the aquifers. So we'll actually have a bit of fun with the aquifer. Also, I'll actually go through different methods of getting through aquifers when we do this next sort of phase in through here. So anything can go wrong, so we'll see how we go. I probably won't specify a lot of time like for the miners to do this, because we're going to have a lot of other things we need to do inside. Anyway, let's just unpause, let them sort of come through. This one should be prioritized, and then we'll just quickly go and at least get our trade caravan set up so we can at least get that one done. Now, I've also got it going up the other way as well, where I've actually got mining where I can go safely until we get to our aquifer layer. So I'll leave that until the end as well. When that's all done, we'll then go and get our trade depot. So we'll just go and grab this one. Throw that in there, just a piece of granite. We've got some right there, just need 3 of them. By the way, the game is updating all the time. Look, there's now a few other little bits and pieces that will have been different than the other sessions that you've watched. Like, I could have just specified all, like against granite, to just have all 3 specified. This will be very useful when we do the big bridges. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about this one here. What I might do is actually, I'm going to start to change things around a little bit. I'm going to go and create a new pen or pasture across where all my food is, and then I'll bring this downstairs with me ultimately. Another one in through there. We'll accept this, and we're just going to add the cats to it. They'll then eat it, like the vermin, as you can sort of see, will actually eat the food. And so we want to stop the vermin. Now there is actually a workshop we can put in as well to stop the vermin, but we'll just get the cats, and that'll do us. Okay. Do we have any? We've got guinea cocks, peahens. Yeah. Okay. We'll see how we go. With eventually we'll sort of want to be getting eggs and things. There's a lot going on in this layer just while we sort of build the rest of the fortress. Now with that done, what I might do is actually sort of just open up. Well, actually, I guess we do want them to just continue on digging out the zones that are back down through here. Actually, this is my food one already. I've already done it. In this case, this is where I should have done the pen and pasture. I think what I can do. No, that's okay. I'll just create a new one. Create a new one. So we'll just go across pen and pasture and get those cats down in here. Accept and bring the cats down. So they'll look after this zone for us, and we'll just go back up the top one and just ditch this zone here. There we go. We don't need it. I put that in the wrong spot. It's funny. I'm sort of live streaming at the moment on Twitch a lot, and I'm sort of losing track of what I've done here and what I've done there. But no, it is good. It's good. Now this is starting to get a bit of mud on it, which is good, and this will ultimately end up, because we've found the cavern layers. This will then fill with soil essentially. Now we've still got the bucket brigade going at the top. Just make doubly sure that we're not getting too much more. They're the only 2 active ones now. Everything else has now got mud. So I'm leaving these for the animals, and we're just going to go and grab another one off to the side here. Oops, and not that. Not blue markers. Then we'll I might just put a door there as well. I don't know if I've built any doors. Yeah, I've got 2 doors. There we are. So we've got a door there. That just means that when we create the pit here, I should have gone down, not just in. So let's see, have a look and see how we're going with our bedroom layer. Nothing started just yet. I'll be down here soon enough. Just make doubly sure that we've got a dedicated miner through there as well. Funny, some of these are on no job. We're not using burrows, so we don't need that at all. They should be doing it. That if miners have got no job and there's mining jobs that they can do, one of them's probably got them. Yeah, only one of them. Once this opens up, they'll all come down. Yeah, there they come. It was a choke point. All right, now we're going to start the process here of getting our bedroom set up. So while they're doing this, I'm just going to pause it and just talk a little bit about what's required in here. Now you can multi-build bedrooms. All you really need initially is just a bed and a door for each of them. So let's go and make it so that we've got 10 beds, 10 doors established. I don't think we've done that. We've got easy meals, barrels, toys, scepters, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Nothing in there about doors, so we just go across to the stoneworkers workshop, and we'll make rock doors. So we'll and they've got 10 of these. I'm going to then put a another marker in. So when the amount of when the amount of doors is say less than 5, so we'll just go and add that one in, and just change the number to 5. So when it's less than 5, they'll build 10. And so we'll have between 5 and 15 doors at all times. And we'll do the same thing with beds. So we'll just go back across, and yep, actually that's okay. That's fine where that is. Add the next one. And this one here is going to have to be done at the carpenter's workshop, because that's how they make the beds. The beds are made out of wood. So we're just going to make beds in through there as well. Again, 10 beds at a time I think would be fine. And what we'll do is we'll just go again and just go and add in another order here. So if the amount of beds is less than 5, so we'll just change that number to 5. That'll do us. Okay, that's done. And so they'll now start to build the beds. Now what I might do is I might actually go, now that they're starting to get through this, which is the only real urgent thing that we've got, if I just go back up to the top of the fortress now, I'm going to start building for that that eventuality where we end up with some, there's a few different things actually we want to do. I'll just go back up to F1, and I'm going to keep this open. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it open, but I'm going to end up with a fortress in around here. I'm going to start building a fort here. And I think I sort of want to do a fair few different sorts of things over time. So if I might make it so that we end up with another sort of unusual layer, but I don't know how far down I want that to be. I might go and make it a little bit bigger out in one direction. Like I'll make it bigger out this way. Now, we don't have any more wood that's been chopped down at the top, so let's go and get some more wood. I've got some over here. So we'll just go and get those done. And actually now I can get rid of that designation. It's getting a bit annoying for me. So the number 4s, whenever I go and click on this one, it is becoming frustrating. I'm going to, in the meantime though, just change the marker, like the blueprint, to standard. So I'm just going to go across and I've got like a fairly large section, so I'm just going to go from here. That should then cover most of it. Yeah, that's going to cover most of it. And I'll just go and get it all the way down to that layer there. So we'll just go and activate all of those. So if I now just go across, so this will become, it's not going to have any value until we're ready to do things. Now I'm going to have the entrance come this side. So I will actually also then just go up, and actually I might wait until we've got the logs. Now we've still got these guys outside. Yeah, we'll need to get them inside. I'll just wait until we've got a few more things happening downstairs with those ponds that we're building. Actually, that's one thing I didn't do, is if I just go back down to F2 and then just go down a couple. And this one here, I've created the hole, but I haven't actually made it into a pond. So I'll just quickly go and do that one again, pit or pond. I won't make the same mistake that I made last time. So just one, accept. And in this case, we're going to make that a pond. So they'll then start to sort of put the water in there. This one's filling up nicely. This one, the door will then stop the water from getting out. And this is good. They're sort of taking it from the water source. Everything's still working fairly well. This has now been built. So we now actually do have access to then go and trade with the trader when the trader does arrive. So that's all looking very, very good. We'll fix up the bottom of it after we've done the top of it. So we'll just keep the top of it nice and secure. And so there's a lot of work for them to do at the top. In the meantime, I might even get even more wood, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to get a little bit more. Let's just go with that. And I might just pause it because we're now just down to standard designations again. So I'll just pause it so I can then save it, come back in it, and then those number 4s will then go away. They're annoying me. Yeah, so now when I come back in, the designations no longer show the little number 4, so I like that. I wish there was a setting to just turn that on or off, but it's not there. Not that I can find anyway. So yeah, so look, I should actually talk a little bit about, again, securing the entrance in. So I am going to build a bit of a road eventually. Actually, it wouldn't hurt. Well, we've got granite down the bottom there. I just wonder whether we use that. I do need to start to bring these animals down as well. Like the pens and pastures, we don't have no, we'll wait for that to actually happen. Let's just go back down to the bottom again. Just press F2. Yeah, so when we're actually down through here now, now these workshops, we're going to be wanting to move them deeper into the fortress. So we've now got this little area now established. So we can start to build our basic workshops again. Like we've already got them up the top, but this is really where we do want them. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to create like a big storage area on this layer, and then have the workshops on this layer through here. Now the way it works is, one thing I like to do, I just find it really nice and neat, is to sort of have like the workshop area around here for the stone is fine. Sorry, the stockpile. But if we then create like another like a stair down through here, it's a self-contained little area, which is really quite nice. So we've got our crafts dwarf sort of working away. Let's just go and build the other ones around it as well. I like to try to keep, if anything's going to have an unusual mineral to use, like whether it be wood or gems or something like that we don't use a lot of, let's go and place those elsewhere. So we'll put them on one side and all of the stone ones on the other side. So we're going to be needing to have, well, I'll start with jeweler. So I'll just go to workshops. We've got a jeweler in through here. Now the jeweler isn't urgent at the start, but we will place it now. But we've already placed upstairs, just as a bit of a recap. I'll just use the granite that's right here to do all of these. Upstairs, in through here, we've got ourselves a carpenter's workshop, a mechanic's workshop, and a stoneworker's workshop. We're going to bring those downstairs. We don't want them up here. This is not going to be where we're going to be having any interaction whatsoever. We may leave a storage area through here ultimately for some things, maybe furniture or something like that if we need to, or maybe just not used at all. Like it may just be a big nothing area. Could even end up being like a test area. And I'm thinking of actually like having like a skunk works to sort of test out things like the mining carts and do stuff like that. So we'll just make this a multi-purpose area eventually, and one that we just experiment in. But that'll be way down the track. Way down the track. We've got a lot to do in the meantime. Jeweler has now been established. We're now going to build another one. So on this side, I'm going to keep jewelry, and I'm going to keep the wood down this side as well. So we'll just go across to the workshops and go to carpenter. Put the carpenter in there. Again, I'll just use granite at this stage. Over the other side, we'll just go across and workshops, and we'll now use the stone worker. Okay, and make that one out of granite. And one more. Just bring the mechanic down here as well. So workshops, mechanic. Again, just out of granite. All right, so we'll unpause, and then they'll go and build those. Now we've got our 10 population. Actually, we got a bit of an influx, I think, didn't we? Recently, yeah, we've got one human spearman, which is a monster slayer, which you can't really get to the monsters at this point in time. It can be fun to build another way even further down into the caverns that doesn't actually impact your group, and we may do that where we actually end up with another smallish. I might make use of the trap zone that we're building to actually go and do something different there again as well, but we'll do that afterwards to go down into the cavern layers. So we'll end up with like a bit of a walkway to open that up, which should be fun actually. So we'll do that so that these guys can go hunting. Everything else is actually looking good. So we've got everyone sort of doing their jobs at this point in time. That's all fine. So that's all been sort of decked out. Just come back into here. I'll just keep on mining in here. Excuse me. I'll let those different carpenter workshops and things also then just be developed. So this is jewelry. So this is specialties, which are going to then be ultimately then sort of worked on in the jewelry shop. Okay, so now the jewelry, we can get pretty intricate with the different shops, and we're going to be wanting to ultimately to then sort of change things as we go. Now we haven't got too much down through there. One thing we haven't designed now or yet is the actual halls and the temple areas, the inns. I am wanting to sort of have like an inn in the fortress. I wanted to have like a whole lot of different meeting areas, and this is probably going to be the area that we do that, I think. Yeah, this is sort of down towards the bottom of the fortress. I forget what I had said initially, actually, because we can place them anywhere. I just like to have themed floors so that each floor has got its own theme. Now, we've actually struck hematite. This is actually quite important. Where is it? It's on this upper layer. That's interesting. Okay, so we've actually now found this high up. This is in one of the channels. It's very, very close to the top. Okay, that's very, very cool. Right, so we've got, and what this is this is actually an ore of iron. Be very, very good for us. We can actually smelt this down into iron bars and then create weaponry out of it. And that's a great source. It looks like we've got a lot of it here. So what we might do is we might ultimately use this layer as a mining layer and then sort of figure out what to do as well, because this is very close to the surface. Not that that really matters that much. But yeah, if we can, I'll come back to that because we don't need to do it right away. There we are. So they're just going deeper and deeper. Now, have they done this top bit? They haven't done this very, very top bit, but they will get to there. Now the trees have not been chopped down yet either. Just make doubly sure that we've got the... Yep, we've got a lot of people that can do that. So they're all making different things. So everyone's actually working away. This is where we have to be very careful. And when we come down into the aquifer layer, I will then talk a little bit about that one. I might just pause until we get there. More hematite. Now, autumn has arrived and it's going to get close. Oh, hang on. What have we got over through here? Troglodyte. Okay, it looks like looks like troglodytes are fighting with a helmet snake. So let's go and have a bit of a look. Yeah, so the human bowman is visiting. That's okay. Struck tetrahedrite. All right, now this one here, if we just go and have a bit of a look at this one through this side. So we've got tetrahedrite in through here. Tetrahedrite is silver and copper. This is also great. Copper is very, very similar to iron. It's just slightly worse. So if you only have copper but don't have iron, still consider making your actual weaponry and your armor out of that. The silver is not very good for sharpened weapons, and I'll talk about this when we start to do weaponry. Gold you can't make weapons out of because it's just too soft. Lead is no good for weapons. Silver is mildly better, but it's still a very soft material. And so silver is good for heavy things because it's got a lot higher weight. And so silver is great for warhammers and maces. So if you're going up against the undead, and I'm guessing we will at some point, we may want to err on that side and actually, rather than having sharpened weapons, have particularly a group that is just using silver weapons. Now, it's sort of one of these things. Like, they're both good at different things. Like the maces and the hammers have got crush damage, whereas the axes, swords, etc. have got like a piercing damage or a slashing type damage. So they actually do different sorts of things. The crush damage is great at sort of smashing bones. It's also very good against the undead. The undead have to be crushed. Their brains have to be pulped. And if you chop little pieces off with an axe or something like that, you're going to then find that unless you chop their heads off, the little bits and pieces can come to life. Not that they're all that dangerous, but you've actually got to pulp them. And so having the hammers and the warhammers and the maces does allow you to at least not have bits flying off the actual undead. So particularly if they've got necromancers with them, then that's the sort of thing that you've got to contend with, which is pretty cool. Anyway, it's all fun in Dwarf Fortress. That's right. We're going to have a quick look and see what's happening here with this fight. Let's just go down there. So let's go and have a look and see what we're dealing with. So we're dealing with a group that was over here. Now where are they? There they are. So we've got this helmet snake over this side, and we've got a troglodyte. I think it's just one of them. Let's have a bit of a look and see what goes on here. So the troglodyte's upper body takes a full force. So something else happened beforehand. Let's have a look at this one in through here. Yeah, so the troglodyte attacks the helmet snake, but she jumps away. So the troglodyte here has been fighting with this helmet snake. We'll have a look at both of them in just a minute. So the helmet snake then attacks the troglodyte, and he jumps away. So it's a bit of sparring back and forwards. Attacks it again, she jumps away. The helmet snake misses the troglodyte. The troglodyte punches the helmet snake in the tail with his left hand, bruising the fat. The helmet snake misses the troglodyte. The troglodyte grabs the helmet snake by the right fang with his left hand. So you can sort of imagine him reaching up, grabbing the actual, because these are big snakes. So grabbing the one of the fangs with his fingers. The troglodyte charges at the helmet snake, so he sort of grabbed hold of it, collides with it, and then the helmet snake is knocked over and tumbles backwards. The helmet snake stands up. The troglodyte misses the helmet snake. Now, what I like to do with combat, and I'll be explaining this a lot, is that you'll notice that I've got the FPS counter open. You don't have to have it open all the time if you don't like it, but I just keep it down there because what I like to do when there's a fight going on or something that requires where it has to be slow, you just press the Alt and the minus key and just watch the FPS counter here. This is the game, and then this is actually what I'm allowing it up to. It's got a limit at 50, so anything over 50 doesn't really matter that much. But I'm just going to go through. You can't change that, by the way. I'm just going to allow it to come back down to around about 10. So I've now put it down to 10. This will then start to come backwards as well until it actually reaches around about the 10. And now when I go, I can just right click on that one, and then there's more fighting going on. There's a bit of blood now. So there's something that's actually happening here. So when we have a look at the next one, with the helmet snake. So we've seen the first little bit of it. So the helmet snake bites the troglodyte in the right lower arm, tearing the fat and bruising the muscle. The helmet snake venom is injected into the troglodyte blood, so it actually has been now poisoned. The troglodyte attacks the helmet snake, but she jumps away. The helmet snake attacks a troglodyte, but he jumps away. But there is now a bite on the actual troglodyte. So what we can do is we can actually now go and have a look at the status of these different people, of different animals. So this helmet snake is 17 years old. It's tough and agile. Is its sort of basic characteristics. It is terrified while being in conflict. You'll find that most creatures, terrified doesn't mean panicked. It just means super concerned, which you would be. No items, of course. The health, you can go to the description and just read what it is. So a snake-like creature living deep underground. Its head is covered in armour so that it resembles the head of a dragon. She's incredibly tough, extremely agile and slow to tire. Her tail is bruised because the troglodyte hit it. Her scales are white, her eyes are black. So that's her description. So that's the helmet snake. We don't get to see too much detail because we don't really know what's going on with these. We can just, like, it's the game. The game is brilliant because what you're going to end up having is for your own dwarves. Superficially you make a quick evaluation as to what their damage is, but until a doctor in your fortress has a good look at them and actually does a full assessment, you don't really know what you're dealing with. You just got superficial information, and the same with the outside. You don't really know what you're dealing with here and here. That's the helmet snake. Now let's have a look at the troglodyte. So you can see through here, it's saying healthy, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. Until we see more, like if it gets closer, we may be able to think, oh, it's bleeding, so we're not seeing the bleeding coming from this thing just yet. So this values hard work, good spatial sense, poor analytical ability, obstinate, a loner, and poor focus. Troglodytes are, they're humanoid just. They're basically humanoid just. He's terrified while in conflict. He's afraid after experiencing trauma. Now, if we go and have a look at his health and description, we can then see he is strong, but he's slow to heal. His right lower arm is cut open. His right lower arm is bruised. And so that's his description through there. But we're not seeing the venom. We know the venom's in there because of the fight, but we're not actually seeing it. So he has been poisoned, but we don't get that information on his actual sheet. So anyway, we'll just watch what happens in here. Again, I've got it going very slowly. They're still fighting. Now, this one is now really quite worried. So let's have a look and see what's going on a little bit more. I'll just keep on playing this until we end up with a resolution here. So the helmet snake attacks the troglodyte, but he jumps away. Attacks the helmet's sheet, then tit for tat. The helmet snake bites the troglodyte in the left lower leg, tearing the fat and bruising the muscle. More venom has now been injected into the troglodyte. Troglodyte attacks the helmet snake, but she jumps away. And then the troglodyte charges at the helmet snake, collides with it again, and the helmet snake is knocked over and tumbled backwards. The helmet snake does stand up. So it looks like it may be stunned. If we have a bit of a look through here, yes, it is stunned. So The helmet snake has now sort of taken a bit of a beating by being charged at by the troglodyte, and is now actually a little bit groggy from that particular part of it. She'll come good quickly. Let's just keep on watching what happens here. They keep on coming back in, so they're now over the top of each other. Just have another quick look, see what else there is. Just look at it from this perspective. The troglodyte takes the helmet snake down by the body with the troglodyte's left hand, and so this is where the it was knocked over. It does stand up. It is groggy. At this point, it's now being wrestled by the troglodyte. Helmet snake stands up. The troglodyte takes the helmet down by the body again, and then releases the grip on the troglodyte's left hand. And then the helmet snake stands up. The troglodyte punches the helmet snake in the head with his left hand, bruising the muscle. The force twists the neck, tearing apart the scale and bruising the fat. So this troglodyte is actually starting to sort of rip apart this snake, which is interesting. The helmet snake misses the troglodyte. The troglodyte grabs the helmet snake by the nose with his left lower arm, so getting hold of it, and throws the helmet snake by the nose with the troglodyte's left lower arm. The troglodyte releases the grip, and then the troglodyte kicks the helmet snake in the head with his right foot, bruising the muscle. So the poor old I was going for the snake, to be honest. It's now stunned and bleeding, so it's now got some other issues. If we go to health and then go to description, we can now see her neck is torn open, her neck is oozing helmet snake blood, her neck is bruised, her tail is bruised, her head is bruised. So she's in a bit of a bad way. So if we have a look at the troglodyte in comparison, we can then sort of see it's now seriously injured. So the serious injury. So we're now starting to see, they were saying healthy before, but if we have a look at the health, it says no health problems. It's because it's not diagnosed as any health problems, but we go back in, and so this one is has right lower arm is cut open, yet right lower arm is swollen with troglodyte blood. Now swollen, that would be the venom, I think, in sort of acting on it. His left lower leg is cut open, his left lower leg is bruised. Now that's also going to probably swell up as well, I would think. It's just incredible, the detail in this game. It's just unbelievable. I just love it. I just love it so much. Anyway, let's just watch it for a little bit longer. There's still more stuff going on. That little thing that we saw there. Oh, here comes another troglodyte. What's he thinking? We don't know. Let's just let it go forward a little bit until there's a winner. Now, when it goes with that little arm that we sort of see there, that's sort of like a rush of blood where they're going to go in, okay, I've had enough of this. He's still stunned. No longer, like, it doesn't look like he's all that badly damaged anymore. If we go to health, description, it's still the same stuff. The neck is still torn open, so there is still problems here. What about this guy? It's bleeding, seriously injured, and we have a bit of a look at the health and description. So again, there's the upper body is very swollen with troglodyte blood. Now it's swollen with it because of the venom. So there's been even more. I won't bother reading all of the actual interaction here, but the helmet snake has now poisoned bitten the troglodyte in its arm. Its leg should now also be. His right lower leg is cut, is bruised, is cut open. Yeah, no, his upper body is cut open. His upper body is oozing troglodyte blood. It's very swollen. Yes, there's a few things there. The arm and the upper body are now swollen with poisons. Let's just keep it going a little bit. He's back in again. Whoa, here we go, a pile of vomit. So if we have a bit of a look at this one through this side, the helmet snake looks okay. This one's now dizzy, nauseous, fever, bleeding, and seriously injured. So when we have a look at the health description in through here, this isn't that different, but now the venom is really taking over. So he's really got a lot of venom now sort of oozing through his body. Now I've gone over time, but let's just finish off this fight. Another troglodyte coming back in. So I'm guessing that there'll be, if we have a quick look at the helmets, actually look at the troglodyte. So this is all of the fighting in through this side. So as it sort of comes down through here, the troglodyte releases the grip of the troglodyte's left lower arm from this. So it did actually have it in some sort of headlock. The troglodyte punches the helmet snake in the tail with his left hand, bruising the fat, grabs the helmet snake, still fighting away. The troglodyte then vomits, which is what we see with the green in through there. It then charges the helmet snake, collides with it again, and knocks it over again. So it's still going crazy, even though it's badly poisoned. Here comes the next troglodyte. Let's just see what actually happens. There's more blood in there now. Now, are they both in there? Yeah, both troglodytes are in here now. Dizzy, nauseous, pain, fever, bleeding, and more, even double pain. This one here is healthy. So this is a female, 23-year-old troglodyte. So if we go back to her health description, so she has now also taken some damage. So so that's actually a problem for her. Have a bit of a look. There's something that was there. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. So the helmet snake has actually now taken a lot of damage, and all its teeth have been smashed out. So it shouldn't be able to bite anymore. It is still stunned and panics after being attacked. So it is now starting to panic. It's going to be wanting to try to get away from there. Description. Tail. Yeah, her teeth are gone. So she won't be able to bite anyone anymore. So this will be interesting to see what now does go on. We've got a poison troglodyte and a toothless snake. Yeah, here comes another troglodyte. So you can see there's all sorts of teeth underneath there, and one of them will eventually win. I'll just let it continue on forward. But playing it at a low speed really is the secret. The snake is now trying to get away. It's still considered healthy, like from what we can tell. Now this one here is unconscious, so he's now seriously injured. The poisons are sort of coursing through his body. The snake is sort of moving down. It's still going for it. I think it had another crack at this one here. It's going to be interesting. I'll just let it run forward a little bit. There's more vomit, more blood. So this one here is now bleeding. So if we have a look at her health, yeah, she's quite durable. Actually, she's swollen as well. I don't know how the poisons would have got in there. If we look at the second troglodyte, she jumps away. Almost like bites a troglodyte in the lower body, tearing the fat. Maybe it doesn't need its teeth to do that. I thought that they had to do. I thought that it was detailed enough that that wouldn't happen. But anyway, this helmet snake has now poisoned her as well. Let's just continue on. She's now feeling sick. These other troglodytes are coming, and the snake's now trying to make its escape. Without its teeth are back in here. You gotta love it. It's coming back again for even more. Okay, we'll just let it go forward. We'll just play it out and just watch what actually does happen here. But it's so damn detailed, this game. It's just incredible. It models like, you know, the helmet snake can't punch the others. All it can do is basically sort of bite at them with its helmet, with its head. Yep. So is anyone dying yet? Not. Oh, look at this. Look at it bleeding out. This one is bleeding out down the bottom here. This one is the 19-year-old male, heavy bleeding. If we look at his health description, his right lung is completely swollen with troglodyte blood. So he's really, really in a bad way. So he's been bitten by the snake. Yeah, we may see him. He's now vomiting as well. They're vomiting. Still alive. They'll eventually go and stop somewhere to try to stop the bleeding. And they're all bleeding and vomiting. They've all been poisoned. It's a big fight. I just want it to finish now because I want it to... now, is that still going? It's still going. More troglodytes are on the way. They are a problem, troglodytes. They're a pain in the bum. Yeah, they're not super bad for our dwarves, but they are annoying. Okay, what else have we got going on? Yeah, so there's heaps of troglodytes now fighting. Okay, we're finishing different orders. That's okay. Autumn has come. We saw that one before. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we'll just keep the fighting coming. They're all staying in the fight. Let's have a look and see how this guy's going. He's still alive. Nauseous, fever, dizzy. He's unconscious. Is he still bleeding? No, he's not bleeding anymore. So the bleeding has now stopped. Look at how it gets really solid, and then he sort of he stops, and it sort of then stops the bleeding for a little bit. We've got this one as well, who is still unconscious as well with the poisons. She's unconscious with the poisons. Unconscious. bleeding and injured, unconscious. So we've got one active, and then we've got a new one coming up through this side. Let's just leave it go for a little while. I don't know if these will come good with the poisons. If we have a look, it's tied and injured with the helmet snake, and this one is unconscious now. So we've got everyone unconscious except for the helmet snake. So it should be able to kill everything if it can just get this last troglodyte. It's done a great job, hasn't it? It's done so much. It's interesting to see the creatures fighting each other. Really interesting. Now, are you going to come in? You're healthy. You're healthy. You can step in and oh, I've got to unpause. That would help. Okay, what have we got there? Pile of vomit, miasma as well. Actually, that one's not dead. I don't know why the miasma would be there, unless the wounds get rotten. Yeah, there's miasma there as well. There's the teeth there from the helmet snake. What happened to the other guy that was injured? The one that was injured. Looks like they're coming good. Like this one here. If we go to health and then have a look at the description. This was the one that was originally bitten, so I think he's actually now gotten rid of the poisons. He slapped the poisons off, and then the helmet snake is sort of then moving off. Anyway, I've gone well over time, guys, so I think I'll actually just leave it here. But that was fun. It was that was interesting. So that's now seems to be sort of moving away. They've all had enough, I think. So fight over. What do we call that one? Is that a draw? I don't know if it is. I don't know if we'd call that a draw. Anyway, a lot of carnage. In one sense, the helmet snake has now lost all its teeth, and the troglodytes are very, very ill, and so they're not going to survive for very long. I wouldn't think, if they do come across anyone else. So anyway, that was an interesting little fight between the helmet snake and the tribe of troglodytes. I'll catch you in the next episode. Please consider liking and subscribing if you do like this content.